Hello, everyone. This is William Armstrong. I'm actually going to bring you something quite concerning. This basically involves a web browser. Web browser app mode can be abused to make desktop phishing pages. This is an article I'm going to bring to you by Bleeping Computer, and its publisher is Bill Tulos. Published on October 3rd, Monday, 2022 at 12:35. A new phishing technique using Chrome's app mode feature allows threat actors to display local login forms that appear as desktop applications, making it easier to steal credentials. The application mode feature, available in all Chromium-based browsers, including Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and the Brave browser. It can generate realistic-looking login screens that are hard to differentiate from a legitimate login prompt. Because desktop applications are generally harder to spoof, users are less likely to treat them with the same caution they reserve for the browser windows that are more widely used for phishing. The potential for using Chrome's app mode in phishing attacks was demonstrated by the researcher Mr. Docs, who also devised browser-in-the-browser attacks known as BitB earlier in the year. Multiple threat actors later used the BitB technique in phishing attacks to steal credentials. Chromium application mode feature. Chrome's application mode allows web developers to create web apps with a native desktop appearance, suitable for Chrome OS or users who want to enjoy a clean, minimalist interface like watching YouTube. The app mode allows websites to launch in a separate window that doesn't display a URL, address bar, browser toolbars, etc. While the Windows taskbar displays the website's favicon instead of Chrome's icon. This can allow the threat actors to create fake desktop login forms, and if the user isn't knowingly launching these apps, it could lead to sneaky phishing attacks. Bleeping Computer and the Gmail opened in Chrome's app mode. Abusing app mode and attacks. To conduct an attack using the technique, the threat actors must first convince a user to run a Windows shortcut that launches a phishing URL using Chromium's app mode feature. After Microsoft started disabling macros by default in Office, threat actors have switched to new phishing attacks that have proven to be very successful. One method that is commonly used to email Windows shortcuts .lnk and ISO archives to distribute Qbot, Bazaar Loader, Bumble, EB, and more, and other malware. However, installing malware is very noisy and can easily be detected by security software running on the machine. On the other hand, opening a browser window to a new phishing URL will be less likely detected. With Microsoft Edge now installed in Windows 10 later by default, it is easier to conduct these attacks as these threat actors can simply distribute the Windows shortcut files that launch Microsoft Edge. An example is Windows shortcut disguised as a Word document, source Bleeping Computer. As Mr. Docs explains in his post, using the following commands, a malicious attacker could create shortcuts that launch a phishing applet on the target's computer. Chrome, Microsoft Edge examples right there. The Chrome one is up above and the Microsoft Edge one is down below. Here's another screenshot adding the required parameters on the malicious file. Right here. Although this would require access to the target's machine, which is a strong prerequisite, this isn't the only way to abuse Chrome's app mode. Alternatively, the attacker can use a portable HTML file to launch the attack, embedding the -app parameter to point to a phishing site and distribute the files to the targets. Here's another example right here. The real one's on the right and the phishing one's to the left. The real one's got a close button at the top right of the window. The phishing one has two other buttons such as maximize and minimize at the top right on the phishing page, on the fake one. Depending on the use case, an attacker can also use the BitB technique to insert a fake address bar by adding the required HTML, CSS, and creating clones of software like, for example, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Teams, or even VPN login prompts. The researcher also claims it's possible to launch the attack on macOS and Linux using the appropriate commands for these operating systems. There's an example right there. The phishing window can also receive action commands via JavaScript, like closing after the user enters their login credentials, accepting Windows resize request, or windowing on a specific position on the screen. The attack's potential is limited due to the requirement that Chromium app mode is launched locally on a device. This local access means that there's already some degree of compromise on the device. However, once the threat actors trick a target into launching a Windows shortcut, the potential for advanced phishing attacks is only limited by an attacker's creativity. That's exactly how that works. I'll be back with an example of fake government grant pages on Facebook that may also socially engineer into handing over credentials. Be right back. Here's another example. This one is an Agent Jim Smith that is not legitimate. It's fake because it's just a random person's face. This one's a government grant organization that's not legitimate. It's basically fake. I can tell just because there's things about it that give it very fake. This one on Facebook, basically it's a government grant. I'll do a video about these coming up, but other than that, I'm going to say this is William Armstrong signing out. See you next time. Bye-bye.